Chapter 5. Velvet. Stephen found himself in a mansion's expansive basement, luxuriously furnished with 80s architecture, animated archetypes, larger than life, embodying victory and glory. A slow-tempo rock song playing on low volume from the next room. Trophies sat at the tops of shelves. Signed sports memorabilia lie behind several glass cases, and hung frames lining the walls. This dated room had a full wet bar, foosball table, dartboard, microwave oven, a custom kitchen, refrigerator, and a colorful stained glass light piece hung over a pool table. An adjoining room held a large tube TV sat in front of a long brown couch, which matched the rest of the decor. He navigated through the space in an alluring curiosity, touching surfaces, spun a foosball knob, threw a dart at the board hitting in between the board's edge and its bullseye. He looked around and paused to comprehend where he was and why he was here. While the spoken word had lost some of its relevance, he figured to at least try it in an attempt to ground himself.
How did I get here?
He ejaculated to the room. The question escaped him before he knew he was speaking. He staggered a few steps through the basement, looking around as if the room itself had deceived him.
I died.
The words sounded ridiculous.
I died. I stood before the Judge of Souls. I was given a chance to erase what would have followed me, my soul, into the next life.
His voice cracked. His eyes moved to the entertainment center, the dark television, the shelves, the bar.
And I did with my projections, destroyed the SSD. I found the source of my soul's black spots and destroyed it. Everything pointed to that, so why am I still here?
The room offered nothing. His breathing shortened.
This isn't right.
His perspective shifted around the room outside of time, moving his arms and legs out of memory.
If that wasn't it, then what was all that for?
His eyes darted across the room as though the answer might be hidden behind a wall panel or beneath a floorboard.
What else is there?
His voice rose.
What else am I supposed to break?
He looked madly at the table, no, the shelf, and toppled it over, shattering its windows and contents.
Is that what you want? You want me to go crazy?
He flipped the foosball table, then letting his hands become heavy to topple shelves, scattering the bar's glasses and bottles, knocking off and throwing neon signs and pictures. The two rooms were thoroughly ransacked.
What is wrong with me?
His chest tightened. His knees gave out beneath him from overwhelming exhaustion.
What fixes this?
He shouted. The cry tore out of him with more anger than sorrow.
What fixes my soul?
He collapsed forward in the middle of the ransacked room with the bar, hands covering his face. For several moments, there was only the sound of his ragged breathing midst the surreal space. Nothing answered, only silence. And inside that silence, something far more frightening than confusion began to emerge. The possibility that the thing he needed to destroy was not an object at all. Then a second shift transpired. The presence entered the room the way winter enters a home with a draft. Not all at once, but unmistakably. Stephen stiffened. He knew this feeling. Not who had come, but what their arrival always stirred in him, the pattern to soothe and surrender to that which does not sustain. He turned around and saw a brown leather swivel chair on the opposite end of the room. A pair of long, sexy legs, crossed at the knee, stuck out from the angled chair. Dark vapor emanated from behind the chair like mood made visible. The legs brought a fatal amusement as to whose they were. This wondering caused him to freeze. Recalling the rules of relation and projection, taught by the Judge of Souls, granted enough will to consider approaching not before the legs uncrossed and their feet hit the floor in one motion. A deep black silhouette suddenly rose, turned, and began a rhythmic walk toward him. The dark figure's edges continuously morphed, as though undecided about its proportions. Stephen was simultaneously fixated and terrified. He became apprehensive and made sure the pool table was between him and the now mobile darkness. This silhouette was impossible, given the room's dim lighting. As Stephen pondered this paradox, the figure began rendering details of feminine qualities. Its shape resolved first. Long brunette hair, spilling over shoulders in dark waves. A striking figure, deep-bosomed, narrow-waisted, made with merciless symmetry. A wavy garment formed over her form, like spilled honey. Her eyes, like black marbles, and face-commanding power, held a scowl not of rage, but of disdain, as though the world had bored her, and Stephen merely managed to interest her for a moment. Her sharp beauty was predatory, the kind that made weakness feel seen rather than loved. This woman before Stephen met every condition for him to want to give himself away to her. She ceased pursuit once both faced each other on opposite adjacent ends of the pool table.
Hello, Stephen,
A silky voice said, her face faintly illuminated by the colorful light piece above the table. Her voice carried that same layered tone, playful at the surface, but beneath it, something deeply permissive, familiar in a way that unsettled him more than surprise ever could. Stephen didn't startle this time. He studied her, not her form first, but the feeling she carried, the density of her presence, the way the room subtly arranged itself around her.
Hello, who?
He stopped short, having already received his answer.
You're from?
Stopping short out of caution. A flicker of amusement crossed her face.
go on.
She replied in a slow, sultry tone. He exhaled slowly, grounding himself the way his guides had taught. Awareness first, reaction second,
This is a projection layer.
he said.
Constructs appear through identification.
His eyes drifted across the basement.
So this exists because I'm still engaging it.
You're still confused about the dark spots in your soul discs.
She said.
Good. Confusion means you're not lying yet.
Her approval felt like a hook he wanted to draw closer to.
You're still part of that projection system.
Stephen continued.
How internal conditions are made into an experience.
She tilted her head in mocking attention.
And yet,
She added softly.
you're still talking to me like I might disagree.
A moment of irritation passed through him.
Well, whatever helps you speak to me.
She said lazily, throwing her right hand up. Stephen steadied himself.
Then answer directly. What are you in relation to me?
She took several steps to her right, tapping her fingers along the wooden surface, hips swaying. Her features played with the light's colors, shifting and adapting. For a moment, she softened, almost familiar, then settled in new allure.
I'm what remained when you chose what to keep.
She said. Silence. Stephen stared at her.
That doesn't make sense.
It does.
No,
He shook his head.
I know what projection is. I know what repression is. You're talking like you're some discarded piece of me, but nobody chooses every part of themselves. Most of that happens before they're old enough to know they're doing it.
Her facial contours creased into a smile.
Partly true.
Then why do you make it sound deliberate?
Because eventually it was.
Her black pupils pierced through the room's low light.
I am the seduction of self-abandonment. I wear beauty because your lower nature listens better when destruction is beautiful. I speak gently because your wounds still confuse tenderness with permission.
Stephen held her gaze to search for just what it was he needed to know from her, about her. The answer irritated him.
So what? You're the scrap bucket to my self-improvement?
You're assuming I was the opposite of better.
Stephen frowned.
What are you then?
The colorful light shifted across her face.
I am every quality you decided could not accompany the person you wanted to be.
He opened his mouth to object. She began circumnavigating along the pool table, touching the surface with both hands. Stephen found himself recoiling backwards at equal speed toward her chair.
Not every quality was ugly. You kept what fit your story.
She continued.
You kept the traits that made sense to your self-image, the spiritual seeker, the thoughtful observer, the heartfelt caretaker.
And the rest became,
His collapse into the chair interrupted him. He felt the desire to come undone at her whim.
The rest became hidden.
The room subtly shifted. Stephen didn't look away.
so you're not separate either.
He said.
You're me, expressed through rejection.
Closer.
She said, smiling for the first time. He pressed further.
Your form is memory, desire, aversion.
And all the tension in between.
He watched her more carefully now. Small things shifted. The brown in her hair caught silver at the edges, then darkened again. Her cheekbones sharpened, softened. Her eyes flickered, mocking red one moment, tender the next.
You're adaptive.
He said.
I'm responsive
She corrected.
to what you won't admit you're responding to.
He tightened.
You're not autonomous.
She smiled.
Say that again.
The guide said projections lose stability when fully recognized.
Stephen said.
Did they?
She asked sarcastically.
Identification dissolves separation.
Then why am I still here?
That stopped him.
I must be still identifying.
He said slowly.
With what?
He hesitated.
With the part of me that rejects you.
Stephen looked around to ground himself in an attempt to remain unfazed by this beautiful, walking paradox before him. Her smile returned, smaller but more real this time.
There you are.
Stephen exhaled.
So, this isn't about removing you?
No?
She said.
If it were that simple, you would have done it years ago, like how you thought the drive was the source of your woes.
She said, closing her eyes and placing the back of her hand on her forehead to lean back in front of Stephen across his lap, then opening her eyes to look at him.
It's about integration.
Stephen felt surrender melt his concern about what his relation is to her. She sat up after the impossible limbo maneuver and turned to grip both her hands on his chair's armrests, speaking in a hushed whisper.
I also resulted when impulses were disowned.
She leans beside his left ear.
When you've wanted something you think you shouldn't have, who does that belong to? When you sabotage yourself, who takes the blame? When you indulge, then believe you should feel shame. Who did the indulging, Stephen?
His shoulders stiffened. She moved in front of him, standing authoritatively with hands on her hips, ready to receive adoration.
You divide yourself so cleanly.
She continued.
Strong here, weak there, worthy here, disposable there.
Chopping air while mentioning each point, stopping with,
And anything inconvenient you placed in me.
lightly resting her hands against her bosom.
So I created you?
Every light has a shadow. When there's a choice, and you chose the shadow, well, I actually prefer silhouette, but same difference.
Silence deepened. Stephen steadied himself, then spoke with intention.
I banish all that is not conducive to my highest good.
She tilted her head, amused.
A banishing ritual right here. Careful what you wish for. We're more alike than you think. But what?
Alike how?
Stephen interrupted.
Don't think you're void of imperfection. Like I was saying, what I'm not alike is what was in your little secret drive.
His breath caught.
You exist because of the drive?
Attached to it? Certainly.
She stepped away.
Contained by it?
Her smile widened.
Not possibly.
The basement stretched. The ceiling pulled upward into shadow. Her proportions shifted again, subtly optimizing, deliberately targeting the parts of him that still reacted before thinking. Stephen hated how quickly his attention narrowed on her, hated the pull. hated that some part of him still registered her, not as danger, but as answer.
If the drive is gone,
He said, forcing steadiness.
what are you?
She stopped close to him.
I'm not lust. Lust is only one of my costumes.
Her hair lightened at the ends, almost moonlit. Her voice softened.
I am the shortcut that reaches for relief before understanding. The ache that says, be held, but do not grow.
Stephen said nothing. She circled him once more.
I am what you turned toward when you felt unseen, ashamed, left behind while other people moved through life with ease.
Her voice lowered.
I am what answered when your pain wanted a witness, but your pride wouldn't let you ask for one.
His jaw clenched.
Then your weakness.
She laughed softly.
No, weakness is what happens when a man stops governing himself. I am what presents itself when he does.
That struck him. She saw it.
You want a monster,
She said.
something separate, something to blame.
Her tone softened.
But I was never foreign to you. I was assembled from permission, fed by repetition, deepened by secrecy, given a throne every time you chose sedation over mastery.
At that word, the room tightened. For a moment, she changed. Younger, softer, sadder.
This is why you were vulnerable to me. Not because you were filthy, but because you were lonely enough to mistake indulgence for intimacy.
Her fingers brushed his cheek. Cool.
You were given a life, a mind, a body, and much of it felt unreceived, misread, and untended. You found me because I required nothing noble from you, only appetite.
His breathing thinned.
That's why I was easy to love.
I didn't love you.
No, you loved what I postponed.
That silenced him. She stepped back, her form darkening again, the scowl returning.
You thought destroying the drive meant destroying me.
She said.
But a man may burn the idol and still preserve the altar.
Stephen looked down. Shame rose, but something else with it. Not purity, not victory. Just the first structure of self-command. This is the work, he thought. Not destruction, but governance. She saw it.
That
She said quietly.
What?
that spine returning to you is yours to accomplish.
Stephen met her gaze.
Then you can be overcome.
She smiled, but it wasn't amused anymore.
Overcome? More like being integrated with the whole.
She gave a small shrug.
But also depends whether you want sovereignty more than consolation.
The room darkened further.
As long as you seek refuge before responsibility, I have a place to return to.
The floor beneath them shuddered. She spread her arms slightly.
The stains were never just indulgence. They're every pact you made against your own becoming. Every time you chose comfort over truth.
Ceiling, walls, and floor, and its furnishings began falling away in chunks into the black-blue distance. He felt it. Solid. Unavoidable. Silhouette's hair rose in every direction from her skull in smooth undulations. Her features changed one final time. Less human now, more archetype than person, terrible and magnificent, and intimately known. Her tone softened again, almost nurturing.
That is why I've come like this.
She said,
Not just to tempt you.
interlocking her hands beneath her chin and giving a flashy smile with a head tilt,
But to interpret you.
returning to her haughty tone. His body gained a distinguishable buoyancy, as if gravity had been turned down. The air took on salt. The basement walls darkened to wet stone. A cool draft sharpened into a moist chill. From somewhere impossibly deep came the sound of vast, roaring water. Ancient pressure without surface. Stephen looked around, seeing this environmental change.
So what now?
He asked, a small smile. Her black eyes calmly stared back. She stepped closer one last time and placed a hand over the center of his chest.
You have hidden in stimulation, so you will be given immensity. You will now enter your realm of depth, weight, and silence from which you cannot run or hide. Now.
She looked into him with the cold affection of a force fulfilling its office. The room collapsed inward. The air thickened. Something vast opened beneath the illusion. With a single push against his chest, she sent him down into the depths of ocean.
You descend.